New episode from Absurde, and today we have a special guest, a story of a guest you will not hear often. We have with us Laraya, and she's a content creator and a travel addict. But more than that, has an amazing story of a plane crash survivor, and she turned this trauma into a passion for traveling. Let's welcome Lais first. Hi, how are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. How is it going?
Yeah, it's
Very good to have you with us.
no, I think we're here to talk about my favorite topic, which is this
absolutely.
beautiful love story.
Absolutely. Hi, Karim.
Hi, كيفك?
Good.
Good.
Lais, your story is very inspiring. Usually, when we go through hard times, it creates trauma for us, and we obviously stop doing the things that cause us this trauma. And we're gonna see your Instagram handle, so people can check your account and see how passionate you are for traveling. Tell us more about this plane crash and how did you turn this into an amazing hobby and a passion?
Well, I think first of all, let's clarify that this was not voluntary. I did not decide, oh, I have a trauma, let me work on it and overcome it. It happened to me. And I think the way it happened, for a variety of reasons, became a passion. But it wasn't always easy. I come from a family, everybody is crazy about aviation. So when the plane crash happened, I became traumatized with it. I was one of the outsider. I wouldn't want to be in those conversations. I did dream about having an international career. So flying will come my way. And it didn't stop me from pursuing it. But every time I would get on a plane, I would have to take sleeping pills. Because when I got on the plane, everything in my brain told me it will crash. And as I'm sitting there, I would just wait for it to happen, and it was horrible. So I had to put myself to sleep. And it was that way for 14 years.
Wow.
And like I said, I did nothing to heal it. And Emirates happened in my life. So my plane crash happened when I was 14. And when I was 28, I received a job offer to move to Dubai. And it was going to be the longest flight of my life. I would be above the ocean for so long. And obviously I was nervous, but didn't stop me. I said, I'm going to go. I just have to have more sleeping pills that will last so long, 14, 15 hours. My background is hospitality. I'm actually a hotelier. And I got into that plane. And, mind you, the airlines that I used to fly with before were like, the American couriers, and they're not very famous for service.
Yeah.
And as I walk into the aircraft as a luxury hotelier, I got very distracted. The staff was so friendly and
On board Emirates.
Yes, and smiley, and they were so beautiful with those red hats, so elegant. And back in the day, Emirates used to give warm towels in economy upon boarding. So I'm like, what is happening here? Are you okay? Okay, how do we do this if we make a mistake? We just continue? Okay. Now we broke the flow. How can I get warm towels in economy class? So I think that was my very first positive experience with flying after the accident. I forgot to take my sleeping pills. The flight was late at night, and I actually fell asleep naturally before takeoff. And I woke up, we were in the middle of the sea. I did not need to take sleeping pills. And that was the beginning of this, passion.
Wow, that's amazing.
And that was the first trip you never took any pills? Like from that flight onwards, you stopped taking any pills?
That's right.
Whoa.
Wow, so you were so fascinated by the Emirates, the service, this flight that you actually did not need to take sleeping pills.
Yeah, it was a distraction.
Wow.
I naturally fell asleep. And then from that day onwards, I said, maybe I don't need the pills.
Wow.
So it wasn't the end of my trauma on that day. I flew other flights after that day, and I would get nervous and turbulence, but I would not have to get to the point that I have to drag myself to, overcome.
Wow, that's amazing. And the plane crash happened not with an airline, right?
No, it was a private plane.
Okay.
It was just four of us, my mom, my dad, my brother, and I. Actually, our dog was there too. So it was a small plane.
And thank God you all survived.
Yes.
That's amazing.
By God's grace.
That's amazing. It's inspiring, Lace, because so you decided that I want to try after this flight, which I did not take any pill during that flight to Dubai. You decided I want to try this on board every flight and try to overcome my fear, right?
Yeah. But it wasn't a passion, and I wasn't a freak about it. And I think the missing piece of the story is actually the A380. So back in the day, this first flight was the 777, and it was my first positive experience. And it took a few years. It's going to be 10 years this year, so I'll say 2.5 years later. I flew my first A380 flight. That was the flight that changed it all. And I think it was a combination of factors. Obviously, now I'm more comfortable with flying, but I had received an email from Emirates saying that I was very close to become Skyward Silver.
Nice.
And there's another aspect of my personality, which is this goal-driven.
Yeah.
So I had to become this silver, whatever, elite. So I'm like, oh, if it's just that much. And on that, when I got that email, I booked a weekend trip to Bangkok. And I flew the same day that I booked the flight. Mind you, I'm from Brazil. We don't fly internationally from Brazil on the day for the day. So for me, it felt like surreal. Wow, I can book a trip internationally and fly. So I think there was a combination of what that airline had an impact on helping me overcome a trauma, which was a deep emotional meaning to me. Then there's this whole goal-driven competition. I can do this. I'm going to be silver. And then there was also this adventurous, this thrill of I'm booking something and I'm flying tonight. I actually went to the office on that day and told my boss, I said, can I leave a little bit early because I booked a flight last night and I'm going to Bangkok today.
We want to hear all about this. You do these a lot. You fly. So first of all, tell us numbers. How many flights have you been on so far?
I don't count all the flights. I count the Emirates flights. And as of this morning, I have flown 350 Emirates.
350. Wow.
Yes.
And you think that if it wasn't for Emirates, you wouldn't be like flying this much, right? No. That's crazy. And I think that's very good marketing, by the way. Like, even got promoted with another airlines 4 or 5 months ago. I was promoted to silver. I was like, oh, I made it. Let me travel much more because you get more benefits as you go. And I totally understand this because I was excited. I sent you a screenshot like, wow, I got promoted. So I totally get you. Like, you want to travel more. Like, where is my next destination? Do I have enough miles? Let me increase this number.
Exactly. Lais, why do you, so you just take flights and you go and come back? Tell us more about this. Like, you literally just came back this morning.
Well, right now there is a specific reason. I am chasing a number and I am on a deadline.
Tell us more.
So the next big thing that I want to do is to reach 380.
In the reference to the Airbus A380.
Yes, the A380 today, I say he is the love of my life. So reaching 380 flights is very meaningful. And I want to hit that on the 10th anniversary of my very first A380 flight, which was the 5th of June, 2013. So now I'm coming to 10 years.
Wow.
So I'm really pushing hard. So now I'm on 350. We're at the end of April. So no pressure. I have 1 month to fly another 30 flights. So it's not an easy target, but I'm committed. So I'm pretty sure I can do it.
I've probably look. I'm a passionate traveler. But now I consider myself an amateur compared to like I've never seen someone as passionate as you are about traveling, and it's beautiful. I mean, travel. Who does not like travel? I mean, maybe very few. But the way you talk about it and like this commitment to reach A380, which is very significant because like it's your 10th anniversary for taking an A380 flight. Tell us a bit more about traveling experiences. I'm sure you've seen a lot. How many countries have you done so far?
You see, I'm not on the chase for countries. I've been to 63, which is a reasonable number. But there are places I love and I keep going back to.
Yeah.
Like I think examples are New York. Obviously, I go to Brazil a lot. I love London as well. For some reason, I go to Karachi a lot, but let's not talk about it. I love Egypt. I love Jordan. I like the Middle East a lot. So the places I love, I keep going back.
Nice.
So yeah, it's not much about the destinations. It's more about the stories and the flying experience.
That's interesting.
And do you pick your destinations based on the airplane? Like if you think that this destination is going with the A380, you're gonna go with this one rather than the 777.
Yes, I prefer. It's not always possible. There are quite a few 777 destinations that get me cheaper flights. Especially I'm flying premium class. Let's say I want to go to Colombo or I want to go to Karachi to start premium flights. And those destinations are with the 777, so I go. But obviously, I prefer being in one of my boys, which is the 380.
So tell us, I'll ask you in a bit about like some tips to give travelers. I'm sure you've got a lot, maybe from bookings to like, I don't know what to pack with you, things like, could be like small tricks and tips. But before that, I just want to know which is like your favorite destination or like favorite, I would say, experience.
I think that's the wrong question. If I really have to answer what's my favorite destination, I would say my favorite destination is the Emirates A380. Wow. I just want to be on board the plane. Last year on Valentine's Day, I turned around to New York. So I went to New York and back on the same plane to be inside the aircraft. So I didn't go to New York. I just wanted to be as many hours as possible. In the end, I think the total flying time is about 30 hours. Just to be inside the plane and enjoying the world-class service and just being there.
This is impressive. And just like really, just to clarify, this is something you do on your own purely and has nothing to do with any,
sponsorships,
partnerships or anything. Just because some people might think, that's amazing. A380 is my favorite as well. But again, like now I cannot say like I'm also passionate about it because I don't do it. Like I feel like I'm an amateur now.
I'm so intrigued right now because I've never been with the A380, and I told you many times I want to fly with the A380.
Oh wow, let's do it together.
I'm in. Like I would just fly. I want to know. Because I've been hearing a lot of good things about it. Like it's quiet. It's so comfortable. And I'm like, guys, I don't want to miss on the opportunity because a lot of airlines are not using this aircraft anymore. I think Emirates is like one of the only ones still using it. So hearing her talk about it, I wanna try it.
Yeah. A380 is something else. Honestly, it's a beautiful experience, and you get also to experience the onboard lounge.
Yeah.
Have a drink up in the skies. But it's cool.
Don't you feel like sometimes, like as what you did, like going back and forth from Dubai to New York, don't you feel like you want to visit the country, or like you don't feel like doing this? You just want to fly?
Well, like my thing is to fly, but obviously I love to explore, destinations, and I love to spend time in the places that I like. So I keep going back to New York, for example. That in this specific occasion, I didn't get off, but I got off so many times, right? Yeah. And when I do, I want to get to see new places, new restaurants, never with a checklist on places to visit, but new experiences that, people are talking about.
Right.
More than, probably the first time I go to a place, I do the checklist and I don't enjoy it as much. I prefer going without an agenda and just being there and, create something different to do.
Spontaneous.
Yeah. And when you go to a destination, I follow you since long time. You're talking a lot about your passion for the A380 or like the aircraft itself, but you're also like an amazing, I would say, content creator for someone who follows you when you travel, because you do a lot of entertaining stuff. So she does have something called the Freak Challenge, basically. So she would post a story asking the followers,
friends, not followers.
Friends, not followers. She insists on not calling them followers, but friends, not followers, and it's beautiful. We'll talk about this. And she asked them to challenge her to do something in this specific destination. And you do it, like, no matter how crazy it was.
Yes. And this is the good way to explore destinations.
Exactly.
It's a creative way. And like I said, most of the times I've been there, or I save a day just to do the freak challenge.
Like, tell us a challenge, a crazy challenge they asked you to do.
I'll tell you one. I don't know if it's that crazy, but it was super fun to do. For example, it was one of my first, was right at the beginning of the account. Somebody challenged me to learn how to milk a cow in Switzerland. I mean, who does that? People visit and they go see the cheese at the Gruyère's farms and stuff like that, but not how to milk a cow. And the challenge was very specific. I had to milk it and drink it right from it.
Oh no!
Oh my God.
I'm out.
So yeah, like the reason why it was fun, I thought it was going to be easy.
Yeah.
But well, the Swiss culture is very closed. So I found a taxi driver from Portugal and we became friends. We hit it off and I said, hey, I know it's going to sound crazy, but this is what I got to do. And we had to knock 5 farms.
Wow.
Until we found a Swiss farmer who would agree to allow me to practice milking in one of his cows, because they're so protective about their cows. So with that, like with the taxi driver, we built a connection. So I made a friend. I still have his number 5 years later. Oh. And with the farmer who accepted, he actually made a statement in front of the camera and said, I accept the madame.
Hello.
And it was so sweet. And like he had fun too. I was like, who's this crazy girl who wants to milk my cow? So for him and his family is a story that I'm pretty sure he still tells. For me, it's just fascinating. And so it's just all the people involved in it, is the emotions, the relationships, the stories, the memories, and the joy. And this is what the freak challenges are about. I don't mind making myself stupid, you know, another challenge, dressing up like a bunny on a plane, just to create the joy, the memory, and make people just have some fun.
Absolutely. You know, here I want to actually just say that I wouldn't call this stupid doing this. This is beautiful. And we had this discussion, a bit of this discussion in our previous episode about content creation and the people on social media. This is something beautiful because you're doing a crazy thing that explores the destination, you're getting to know people, whereas we see a lot of other people doing the stupid stuff, which have, you know, zero maybe value to your life or to their life even, and maybe they get the same amount of followers and likes and engagement. So what you're doing is, I would say, it's something beautiful. That's how you explore the destination, and you let us explore it with you, which is what's beautiful about it.
And that's emphasizing on the fact that she called them friends, because I don't think it's a bond, you know, because they're giving you challenges, you do them, and it's nice because it's also linked to the country. I mean, milking the cow in Switzerland.
It's one of the criteria.
Yeah, so I love it because it's also spontaneous for you. You don't know what to expect when you go there. It's not like a basic where to go to this restaurant or this hotel or this monument. You're doing something, an activity. I love it.
I mean, you find a lot. I mean, that's beautiful also to do recommendations and all of that, but you won't find this type of content, I would say, anywhere. Just to do something, you know, crazy that's related to the culture.
Absolutely.
Can I say something? I think my friends, not followers, there's a huge variety. They're all ages and types. And very often I come across people who suffer bullying. And then here I am in front of, 30,000 so people dressed like a bunny inside a plane in the airport, or even sometimes from the restaurant. And then it's like, aren't you ashamed? But it actually made me think about this. Brings me back to when I was, a teenager, and I was so afraid to have fun because of what people would think of me. Wow. And I think showing this, that it's natural, that you can do what makes you happy, and just enjoy it and live in the moment and have that joy without being overly concerned, because why do people have to do with the way you're dressed and the way you're having fun if you're really genuinely having fun? And I think I connect a lot with people who may have suffered from it.
Exactly. And I think today with seeing a lot of people doing way worse than just dressing as a bunny and enjoying an experience that's related to a travel. We're seeing crazy stuff, so I think you're not doing anything out of this world. We're actually doing something that's entertaining and introduces people and the people who follow you to a lot of cultural things.
I mean, she's having fun. She's not harming anyone. Just think she should just go for what she likes to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think she has one life. She shouldn't worry about anyone what they have to say.
Well, exactly. Lais, your least favorite destination? Although I know you're more about the flight or aircraft itself, but least favorite destination.
Well, I did have a very negative experience, frustrating experience when going to Kathmandu once. And for some reason, I keep talking to people and it seems like it's common, so I don't know what's happening.
Okay, I can agree and I can talk a bit about it, but yeah, go ahead.
I have at least 5 friends who've been to Kathmandu and they always got into some sort of frustrating experience. Actually, I flew to Kathmandu as a hack because flying from Kathmandu straight into Rio was much cheaper than flying from Dubai. So I was like, okay, here I go. I'm going to Nepal just for a day and then coming back. And I couldn't get out. First of all, I got there. I was supposed to go into transit and come back on the same plane. And immigration didn't let me. They closed and I got stuck. So I said, okay, let's make the most of it. Let me be the positive person that I like being. Let's explore Kathmandu, a new culture. Let's make the best of it. Okay, so I spent 24 hours extra. I went to the airport. Then my plane couldn't land. And that was because there was a lot of fog. Kathmandu airport is very famous for, difficult landings. But the problem was every other airline was landing except my airline. And I'm like, this is about me. So that was like 11 p.m. And so mind you, on the way back, I was a business class passenger. And here we are all sleeping in the floor of the airport. Like extremely uncomfortable situation. It was so hard. There was nothing. There was no water. There was no food.
Wow.
And I had to wait until 2 p.m. So I went to the airport at 10 p.m. and I was there until 2 p.m. on the next day.
Oh, wow.
My aircraft finally lands. When it lands, there is a problem in the engine. And I'm like, what is this trip? It's cursed.
Okay.
So there was nothing
with
the destination itself, but everything that happened, it was extremely frustrating. And therefore, I do not even consider going back.
Wow. Yeah, understandable. I mean, the Nepalis won't be upset.
I have a lot of Nepali friends and friends not followers and colleagues from work, and they're very sweet. And they're like, no, please give us another chance. I said, let's keep things as they are. It's a beautiful destination. A lot of
maybe
people.
Later on.
Exactly.
Maybe. Pokhara is amazing. I love it. But yeah, Kathmandu, I did not have also a very good experience at it, but it's okay. I mean, some other people, I'm sure they had a good experience.
I think that was a long message, like, take a break from Kathmandu. You had so many signs. I think you can wait a few years.
Yes.
Exactly. Tip for the travelers, being in terms of, packing your stuff, booking ticket, any tip you can think of?
Look, I don't know. I don't have any super well-kept secret. I think obviously one thing that I leverage a lot is with miles. I collect as much as I can, which means and sometimes I get in trouble, you may have seen on the account, I am a cashless person. I do not use cash. I only use credit card, and obviously I pay my bill on the day because otherwise it becomes a very expensive business, which no one
That's
wants
a good
to follow.
financial tip.
Yes, but why are you going to use cash or transfer and get 0 points out of it when you can use your credit card, which is the same, and then have the miles too? So I'm very intentional on what kind of bills I pay with what kind of credit card to get the miles. So that's, I think, first and foremost is like ground rule. I think in terms of getting, obviously by now I love flying premium class and I'm not a millionaire, I'm not a rich person. So how do I do that is one of the things that everybody should consider is not flying from the hub of the airline. So if I want to fly, business or first, I most probably will not buy the ticket if it's in Germany, I would not fly out of Frankfurt, right?
Oh, okay.
and so I think you get the message.
Yeah.
So that's why I keep flying around a lot to start my travel somewhere else.
Okay, that's a good tip.
Yeah, and I think you talked about packing. I think now travel became something so natural to me. Like I said, I walk out of the office, I drive to the airport, and I take a plane somewhere. So sometimes I don't even bring anything. So I think like during my latest trip to Japan, I actually show it to everybody, and I used every single piece of luggage in there.
Yeah.
And I had exactly 5, and I used all of them because I know what goes with what and what connects. So yeah, I think from being an amateur traveler in the past that what if, and have a lot of choices, I don't need that anymore. As long as you have a jacket that you can change around. Yeah, so I always travel with one backpack only.
Yeah, I wish I can say the same. Never. I'm like a heavy packer, if I can say.
We are what if packers.
Yeah, what if? What if I need this also piece? What if I'm gonna wear this? Lais, COVID-19 must have been really hard on you because you couldn't travel. What did you do?
Yeah, I think we are all in this together. No one was traveling. And the good thing is I had a bit more free time. Because apart from the fact that I couldn't travel, at my work, we're all on unpaid leave too. So I remember just being a time, I actually have found memories from COVID-19 period on how much fun I had with the Friends Not Followers. We're all in this together, and there was so many memes going around to help us with our mental health and just keep up our spirits because we didn't see the light in the end of the tunnel right away, right? So I look back and I see that as a joyful time of connecting with them and just being silly on the internet, and obviously connecting with close friends from Dubai. It was a good time of bonding within our church community. I'm a Christian. And it was all about the travel updates. When, and I could post that as my content, right? When are we going to have the first flight? And obviously, I was on the very first Emirates A380 flight to London, which I did a turnaround. Back then, UK was not open. There was a lot of restrictions. So my first flight on COVID was to there and back on the same plane.
That's amazing. That's interesting. So I think that's it for today. It was really amazing having you. That's really inspiring. First of all, let me tell you that I love your positivity, your energy. Like when you talk, you're just as energetic as you seem on your account. So keep that beautiful spirit and keep traveling, and let us travel with you through your stories and your posts. So thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That was amazing having you.
This is amazing to turn something so bad into a passion and to be able to build onto it. I would have maybe never been able to do that.
Exactly.
And just to spread positive vibes, positive energies. I mean, no words. I'm glad to have people like you on social media. And I hope you guys enjoyed our episode, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.